Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Dallas Stars franchise mode here in NHL 20. So in last episode, we had the season simulation, and we just barely again squeaked our way into the playoffs with 82 points in 82 games. We finished with a record of 36, 33, 10, and 3, and yeah, it was a very tight race down to the end. We lost our last game of the season, which could have killed us, but instead Detroit lost in regulation as well, so they did not pass us in the standings, so we just barely made it in. And yeah, hopefully we could win the cup this year, because this team is going through some rocky stages, it seems like, even though we do have a pretty good roster, I would assume. Now, what's weird is we're going up against the Calgary Flames here in round one. They finished the season going 53, 21, 5, and 3, which won them the President's Trophy. But if you guys remember in last episode, if you watched it, they have a very interesting team. Like, I don't know how they won the President's Trophy. I'll quickly go over it again, but as you can see, their top line really good. But then afterwards, they have so much 70s and like 81, 82s that this team should not be simulating out well unless it's because they have a very good coach. I have no idea what the case is in this. As for defense, their defense is also really weak, especially down here on the bottom four. The top two is okay, but it would be more better for here, I would assume. And in their goaltending, they have former goaltender Thomas Vokoun, who had a really good season simulation. He had like 45 wins somehow. Like, he was not doing that good as a backup for us. We let him go, and he just dominated the NHL. Put up only one shutout during the regular season, but he still did really well. And then his backup is Chris Mason. And then depth-wise, even, they don't have any injury problems currently. So I don't know why they simulated so well, if it's just, like I was saying, the coaching staff or something like that. But this top line is pretty much all their offense. But I think, actually, this guy, Jokela, won Rookie of the Year. Yeah, he won Rookie of the Year with 59 points. He is a bit of an overager for rookies because he was down in the AHL for a few seasons. Looks like he actually was traded to Calgary. Yeah, he was traded to Calgary by Sweden. He was a 5th round pick, so that's kind of interesting that guy got a win out of that. But yeah, this team is very weak. Now, quickly before we get into a simulation, let's just do a little bit of a comparison. So during the regular season, we scored 3.27 goals per game, while the Calgary Flames scored 3.85. So somehow their offense, being that weak, managed to outdo this offense of ours, which I don't understand it at all. Like, look at this. Like, we have like all 82s and 83s and stuff like that, 87s, 90s, and they have like only like their top line pretty much, but they have managed to outscore us per game, so I don't understand that. As for defense, they were better than us as well, only allowing 3.01 while we allowed 3.2. And our defense is kind of similar to theirs, but it is still better in terms of the bottom four. And then goaltending wise, we are way better than them in terms of this, but we still allowed more goals. So I don't understand the simulation at all. And then power play wise, they had a 25.8% on the power play while we went 17.6. So hopefully we could turn down their power play a bit. And then the penalty kill wise is where we actually beat them with an 80.6% on the penalty kill for us and a 79.1 for them. So anyways, let's get into the simulation. I've talked enough for 5 minutes, or maybe less than that actually, because I had to re-record this because my voice kept dying. Because like for some reason in the morning, my voice just automatically goes on me. So anyways, let's get into game number 1 in Calgary at the, is it Pengrove Stadium yet, or is it Canadian Airlines? It's probably Canadian Airlines, I think. Maybe not even actually yet. What is this arena? I can't remember. Yeah, I think it's Canadian Airlines. I'll check afterwards. But anyways, game number 1. Let's get into this, and hopefully we could pull off an upset against the President's Trophy winning team. First period, and it's 1-1. So Trevor Wong scores for us, and then Michael Nylander ties it up for them. It just seems weird seeing Vokoun on the other side of the team, because Vokoun was with us last year. And yeah, and then we let him go because I decided to give him a shot as being a starter somewhere else. Glad he actually got the chance, but hopefully we could actually beat him. Shots are 14-10 in favor of us. Let's see what happens here in a second, and it's 2-1 Calgary. Damn it, Joe Newendike scores. Now, what's kind of interesting actually about this playoff matchup is Jerome McGinley was obviously drafted by Dallas and then traded as part of the Newendike deal with Calgary, so it kind of would have been interesting if Jerome McGinley was in this roster build, but unfortunately he wasn't because he was drafted a bit too late for it, but oh well. Shots are 23-21 in favor of us, but we're still down by a goal. Thomas Vokoun is playing good against his former team, and friggin' Joe Newdike. But Anton Lundell answers right back to give us a 1-goal game once again. Can we tie it up, please? Mike Medano? How about Sador, who we traded for a couple years ago and gave up our first for this year? And wow, okay. I ask and you should receive. Sador scores to tie the game up. Because, like, we gave up our first from last year, and that, I don't know what that got Tampa Bay. I'll have to check sometime, but anyways, they have our first as well for this year, so I'm hoping that we could at least make it pretty far, so it's like a late round pick for them. So shots are 39-27 in favor of us. We came back from a 3-1 deficit here in the third. Let's see if we could win it here in overtime. We have a lot more shots than they do, but Vokoun's been solid, and there's a goal from Mike Medano. There you go, the captain leading by example, and we win in game number 1 by a score of 4-3. So our big guys actually showed up that game. So Wong from Sador and Medano, Lundell from Medano and Lachance, Sador from Medano and Wong, and Medano from Sador and Wong. So Medano had a 4-point night. Nicely done, Mike Medano. 1 goal, 3 assists, and 1 hit. Sador the second star with 1 goal and 2 assists, and Nieuwendyk the third. So I'm glad that our top line actually produced in that first game, because a couple playoffs that we've had already, our top line hasn't been the greatest. And we've suffered an injury in game number 1, and it's to the veteran Alexander Godiniuk until April the 16th, which is not that good. Hopefully, oh wait, actually we have Jason Bowen's depth, but still, Godiniuk is pretty solid, but he's only out for a week, so he would be back for a Game 5 situation if there is no sweep, but I don't think there will be a sweep. So let's head to game number 2. Let me actually just check what arena they're playing at, just because I can't remember. Oh, it's the Olympic Saddledome. How did I not remember that? It was the Olympic Saddledome, and then eventually went to like Canadian Airlines Saddledome or some shit in like the 90s. It's hard to remember with all these arena names because I've been like doing a lot of roster work as of late. So anyways, let's get into game number 2 and see if we could take a 2-0 series lead here in Calgary. And that would be huge going back home, hopefully. First period of game number 2, and it's 2-2. Okay, I'll take that. So Nylander scores early on a power play goal. Then Vyborny and Sador score, so the top line doing good for Sador. Vyborny is on the third line, I think, so that's good as well for the third line to come in scoring. And then they score another power play goal, and it's Theo Fleury. So their power play did really good during the regular season, like I was saying, at 25.8%, and it's continuing to be good here. So we need to find a way to shut it down a bit. Shots are 15-12 in favor of the Flames. Second period, and that is not good. It's 4-2, and they got another power play goal. So we might have to change up the penalty kill lines a bit because we're allowing a lot of power play goals against, and Michael Nylander makes it 4-2. Once again, we're trailing going into the third. Do we have another comeback in us, or is it going to be a tie series headed back home? Yeah, I'm going to probably change up the lines for the penalty kill, I think, because we're allowing a lot of power play goals. I think we allowed some in game 1 as well, if I'm not mistaken. It's hard to remember because I don't remember if I actually even looked at to see if it was a power play goal or not in game 1. And we're going to lose in game number 2 by a score of 4-2 as Thomas Vokoun has a good rebound game. So Vyborny from Breland and Sador from Wong is their only goals. And 3 stars, all Flames guys. Nylander with 4 points. Vokoun the second star, and Fleury the third. Okay, so yeah, we're going to change up some lines with our penalty kill at least. Trying to get that penalty kill unit to do better. I don't know if it was because we just lost Godiniuk to injury that we lost that game, but who knows. Because Jason Bowen should be okay to come into that spot. Like, he's not as good as Godiniuk, but he is still kind of a solid physical defenseman. So let's go to our penalty kill and see what we need to change up. So we'll move Lundell to center. I don't know why Martin LaPointe was point center. What the heck? Or did I make that change during the regular season? Would a center be playing the wing and a right winger playing the center role? That's weird. Okay, what else do we want to do in terms of line changes? Let's put Vyborny up for a change. And I like Martinson on the penalty kill. And yeah, we'll put LaPointe still on there. Do you want to change the defense? Hatcher's good. Bowen's good. Lachance is not good. We'll take off Scott Lachance, and we'll put in Taze, the youngster. Yeah, Taze is better. He's a defensive defenseman, so he should be okay in there. And then we'll change this up. Why is Martin Lapointe playing center? I think I might have... Yeah, I did up his center role spot, but he wasn't really a center in his career, so I don't know why he's playing center. And yeah, we're going to actually... Should we scratch him and put in Chris Draper? You know what? We're going to put in Chris Draper. Martin Lapointe has been... he's been okay, but still, we're going to take out Martin Lapointe. And we're going to put in Chris Draper. Chris Draper is a much better defensive forward, and maybe he could actually help his team out. Martin Lapointe is more of a grinder. I don't really want to take taking penalty minutes. Maybe that's why we were losing games, or why we just lost that game. So we will put Draper as the center and put Martinson as the winger, and put Draper there is good. And we're going to take out Lachance and put in Taves. And that still doesn't do good. Draper doesn't really match the penalty kill, though. At all. Or is it just those defensemen? It might be the defensive pairing. It's partially the defensive pairing. Well, you know what? We're just going to leave Draper in. It might be a -2, but I think Draper still could be a better penalty killer than Lapointe. Just because, yeah, like I said, Draper's more of a bottom six guy. It does take penalty minutes, but he's more of a defensive forward. Lapointe's more of a guy that just gets really physical. So let's see what happens here in game number 3 as we shift to home ice. See if we could take a 2-1 series lead here, and hopefully Chris Draper could help contribute. First period, and it's 2-0 them. And we allow another power play goal against. Yikes. Fleury and Friesen score. And it is a 2-0 lead for the Flames. We're getting outshot 13-9. Hopefully we could have a bit of a rebound here in the second period, or else this is not going to be nice. Second period, and it's 3-1 for them. So we allow a short-handed goal, which really sucks. Joe Nieuwendyk makes it 3-0, but Sador pulls us within 2. Can we come back from a 3-1 deficit again? Hopefully. Let's see what happens here in the third. Come on, boys. You can do this. We got the deep roster. Donald Death scores to make it 3-2. Okay. We need one more goal to tie it up. Mike Medano again. Somebody on the top line like Wong, who had 100 points during the regular season. Come on. There you go, Mike Medano. Let's go. Medano's having a good playoff so far. Him and that top line seem to be doing well, like they did during the regular season. And Mike Medano actually missed a bit during the regular season, so he's helping out a lot here. Shots are 39-27, and once again we have came back from a 3-1 deficit. Can we win it again here in overtime? Who wants to be that hero for us? And no, we cannot. Damn it, Robert Reichel. Of course, it's a top liner, and it's another power play goal against. Who took that penalty in overtime? It was Trevor Wong, a guy that doesn't even really take that much penalty minutes, really. I think the simulation's trying to screw me over. What do we want to do in terms of lineup changes? Because now we've dropped 2 straight games, and I'm kind of concerned because we almost lost in game 1 as well. Okay, so let's get into... Do we want to get into game 4 already, or do we want to make more changes? I'm going to make some more changes. Let me take a look at how Draper's been doing. Like, Sador right now is killing it. And I really want to win the cup. Okay, so Chris Draper only played 950 and he was not a minus. Who's badly minused on this team? Because maybe that's where we need to make changes. Or is there even anybody minus? Drake is minus and he's not producing. Let's move him down to the third line. Yeah, we're just not scoring a lot, I think, is our only problem. Lindback. Why is Lindback there? I want to move Lindback up here. There you go. Because Lindback is more offensively minded, so we're going to move him up to the top 2 for now. And put Bowen down to the top 4. Yeah, I think that's good. Nabokov's dropped the ball actually a lot in this playoffs so far. And maybe that's why we're down in the series. Like, he's 1-1-1 with 4 goals against average. Yikes. I don't want to put in Simic, though. Has Simic came in at all in this playoffs? No, he hasn't. If we lose this game badly and Nabokov lets in a lot of goals, maybe we'll try Simic just for shits and giggles. But holy crap, this team is not doing good defensively at all. Even though we're playing against a team that has a very weak offensive core. So anyways, let's get into game number 4. We have been kind of okay because we're scoring is around the same amount as the Flames. But yeah, it just, our goaltending seems to be always the problem year in and year out. So hopefully our goalie prospects end up panning out. First period of game 4, and it's 1-0 Dem. God damn it, Robert Reichel. Shots are 10-8 in favor of us, but we're down by 1 goal. Can we rebound here in a second? Yes, we kind of can. Bowl makes it 2-0. Audette makes it 2-1. We need to have a huge third here, or else this series might be lost almost going into next game, unless we could come back from a 3-1 deficit. But it's going to be tough against a President's Trophy winning team. So here we go, third period. Let's see if we could tie this one up again. Oh, that was at 8 times. God damn it. I thought that was at 1 times. Who wants to score? And it's Stephen Rice. Nicely done, Stephen Rice. We'll just call him Uncle Ben because, you know, Rice and Uncle Ben's. Even though his name's not Ben. And are we going to overtime again? No. Oh, are you kidding me? Okay, Nabokov is getting taken out for next game. Because Nabokov just seems to be like a really bad playoff goalie. He lets in a goal late in the game with 1 minute and 5 seconds left. And we lose 3-2. And we're now down in the series 3-1. I wonder if Nabokov is the problem. Audette from LaChance and Rice from Medano Martinson. Like, we just barely squeak into the playoffs the last 2 years, and our goals against is always up high. It's probably Nabokov that's the reason why we missed the playoffs almost. But yeah, I'm going to take him out. Let's actually advance the next game first, just so we could get him into the lineup. Just because I want to go with the backup goalie and give him a shot. If Simic could win a game, maybe we'll keep Simic until he loses. Because Nabokov is just... Nabokov is just dropping the ball completely. Like, allowing around 3 goals a game is not that good. So, wait, actually, let me just check on Draper to see if he's actually still playing good or not. Yeah, he's got 5 penalty minutes, but he's still been okay. Yeah, Nabokov, you've been really dropping the ball. He's already 27. He might be one of those guys we want to trade in the offseason. I know it might sound weird, but maybe an 89 goalie is not the way to go. Maybe an 85 or an 82 or something's way better to go with. Yeah, I might trade Nabokov in the offseason and see if we can make a deal with the Sharks. That way he actually gets to play in San Jose. Because he's just not been a playoff goalie. Like, regular season, 9-0 saves percentages are okay. But, like, the playoffs, like his first ever playoffs, 906, then he has a really good playoffs, 930. But then after that, a 906, a 902, a 904, and an 891 so far. Yeah, Nabokov, I think you might be in your last year here. Potentially. But then again, we don't really have another goalie. Like, we're going to have to trade Nabokov for a goalie in probably picks or something like that. We do have DePenta in the system, but he is still probably a couple years away. So we're going to have to rely on, like, Simic and somebody else, I think, next season. It might be risky, and we might miss the playoffs because of it, but I think Nabokov is just, he's done here pretty much. Game number 5, can we please come back from a 3-1 deficit, or are we going to lose in 5 games and once again have a bad season, even though we're going up against a cheese team? We're just going to do a real-time simulation in this. But Borny scores on Vokun, nice. 2 fellow countrymen there in Czech Republic. Hopefully we could win this one and take it back to home ice. And Robert Reichel, again, their top line is way too good. Power play, and we don't score. There you go, Martinson. 4th line comes through. Liking how our third line and fourth line come through in a big game like this. We also need the big guys to step up again, even though they have been really good this playoff round so far. Shots are 12-7 in favor of the Flames, but we have a 2-1 lead. Let's keep it up. Penalty kill, and damn it, another power play goal against, and it's freezing. But Klatt answers, and Pekka answers right back for them. Jesus, this is a really back and forth game 5. Come on, boys. Power play. We can't score on our power play either. Our special teams are really, really bad too. But there's no way you could just fix a special teams unit unless you have really good players all around. Okay, so it's a 3-3 game. We're being outshot 25-13. Why aren't we shooting the puck that much? But at least we're scoring. But we need to have a strong third here, or else we will be eliminated. Come on, boys. Who wants to be that man? Mike Modano again? Penalty kill, nicely done. Power play? Nope. Final 10 minutes here of this third period, and god damn it, Joe Nieuwendyk scores. It must be our defense too, because Simic's allowing a lot of goals. But our offense is not getting a lot of shots, and we're going to lose in 5 games. God damn it. I can never make this team win. I'm getting kind of fed up with this franchise mode to an extent. Like, literally, this team has not been able to get past, like, the first round ever since winning the cup back in, like, year number 2, was it? I don't remember what year it was. But Viborny from Drake and Breland, Martinson from Hatcher and Rice, Klatt from Lindback and Hatcher. And then, yeah, the Flames just scored 3 unanswered goals to win against us. This team is choking so much. But how did Simic do by comparison in terms of save percentage? 889. No, it's maybe not in the Bakov's fault. Maybe it's just our defense is just really bad. Like, I don't get how this defense is similarly not bad. Like, okay, maybe it's the bottom, the young guys. Yeah, Thompson could be the problem. How was he during the regular season even? I don't even know. Him and Taves both -2s in that game. Lindback was a +3, so it seems like maybe our top guys are doing it on well on defense, but yeah, we need to find a way to be a better defensive team, even if it means going through a rebuild, and Lindback was injured that game too. Well, that sucks because I was going to, well, actually I couldn't send him down to the AHL or else he would have claimed on waivers, but our AHL team is currently 1-1, so let's follow the AHL after we take a look at our player stats. And then, yeah, then we'll get into the awards and all that once we get there. So, yeah, our top line was doing really well offensively, but we still just could not get it done. Like, how the hell do we lose to a team like that? I know they won the President's Trophy, but they must have, like, really good chemistry boosts or coaches or something is really good with that team that I don't know about. So, yeah, those are the other series currently. Let's take a look at the player stats, even though we lost. So, top line wise was doing really good. Everybody on the top line was over point per game, but their plus minus was not the greatest. So, they were on for a lot of goals against, which means, yeah, their top line in Calgary probably did really well. Audet had 3 points. Lachance had 3 points. Who did really bad for us? No points for Taves, which makes sense. No points for Thompson. No points for Bowen. Draper, no points in 3 games. Lapointe had no points in 2 games. Godinuk was injured in game 1. Drake had 1 point and was a -3. Yeah, it seems like a lot of our young guys are just not producing in the playoffs as well. And actually, except for Zador. Goalie-wise, yeah, see, like, our goaltending was really bad. It's probably our defense because we don't have a very good, strong defensive core, I guess. We could make it a bit stronger next season, but geez. Like, let's take a quick look at the Flames player stats for this round, even though I don't know how long this episode has gotten to. But yeah, look at that. That top line in Calgary is insane. Nylander had 12 points in 5 games. That might be the most insane first round I've ever seen. He had 101 points during the regular season, puts up 12 in 5 games in the playoffs. Yeah, if the Flames win the cup, this top line is the main reason. Reichel 9 points, Fleury 5. They just must be a good defensive team in the sense, even though their defense is kind of weak. And Vokoun had, and he wasn't the greatest, I would say, but he still had a better playoffs than our goalies. So maybe we should have kept Vokoun over somebody like Nabokov. Like, geez. Okay, so let's follow the AHL. We're not going to go into their simulations. We're just going to actually like quick sim through their games to see if they get anywhere. And yeah, then we're going to get to the awards, and then that will be pretty much it for the episode. We'll also check our progress reports and the draft just in case. We don't have our first this year though. Godiniuk is back, which doesn't really matter. Yeah, I wonder if it was the Godiniuk injury that screwed us over. So we are currently tied at 2. We went up 2-1, but then they won in overtime. Can we move on to the second round in the AHL at least? Let's just go best lines again. And yes, we can. In overtime, we are headed to the second round. Good job, Texas. Now we take on Milwaukee. Can we take out Milwaukee? We win game 1. We win game 2. We win game 3. And we sweep them in the second round. So good job, Texas. If Texas wins this year, at least that's a bit of a success because that means our future is bright. At least I would assume. So let's get to that third round. As who are we going to be facing? We're 7-2 in the playoffs down here in the minors. And we're taking on Bakersfield. Okay, first 4 games against Bakersfield. We lose, we win. Okay. And we lose. So we are tied at 2. We're 9-4 in the playoffs. Let's see if we could take a 3-2 series lead here in the HL. Yes, we can. And the last game is another win. We head to the finals in the HL, I think. Yeah, we're in the Calder Cup finals against the Syracuse Crunch. We're 11-4 in this AHL playoffs. Good job, boys. First 3 games of the finals. And Peter Machovsky's been injured with an injured thumb. God damn it. We're going to actually have to edit those lines. And we're down 2-1 in the series after winning game 1 6-0. Come on, boys. And Machovsky's back for a crucial game number 4. We're going to have to put him in just because I want this AHL team to win. Like, I don't really want to rely on, like, Jerry Jones, for example. There you go, Machovsky. And we have tied the series. Good job, boys. Game number 5 is a 3-0 win, and we're 1 win away from the Calder Cup. Can we win the Calder Cup in the AHL? Yes, we can with a 7-2 win. There you go. Okay, now that's a somewhat successful season for our future, but not for our NHL team. And it's a St. Louis and Finland Stanley Cup Finals. Okay. I mean, the St. Louis Blues winning the cup would be okay, but Finland won the cup. Wow, okay. That's, I think, our first European team to win a Stanley Cup is the Finland team. So that's Alfredsson, Koivu. There's a couple other guys on their team that were really good, like Jiri Lehtinen. So, yeah, and we win the Calder Cup, which is good. But Finland winning the Stanley Cup, that is very interesting. I should actually take a look at their... No, I can't take a look at their lines, but let's take a look at those individual awards. We'll also take a look, actually, at Finland's playoff stats. Let's take a look at the playoff tree, for example. So the Blues staple rolled over LA, Toronto, and Russia, only losing 2 games, but then they lost in 7 to Finland. Finland went through New Jersey in 5, New York Rangers, no, not New York Rangers, Buffalo in 6, and they also went through Quebec in 6. Okay. Okay, awards for the season. So the Stanley Cup champions, the Finland Brown Bears. Calgary wins the President's Trophy, which is really weird. And it was the St. Louis and Finland Stanley Cup Finals. As for individual awards, Robert Reichel wins the Art Ross. Right, Robert Reichel wins the Hart. Chris Pronger wins the James Norris. Is that Victor or Vyacheslav? I don't know which Kozlov, but one of the two of them win the Lady Byng. Jokela wins the Calder. Kapanen wins the Conn Smythe for Finland, so Sami Kapanen was really good over there. Nikola Hebibulin wins the Vesna. Brodeur wins the Jennings. Him and Aguzane, who's the backup, I guess. Jeffrey Allen wins the Masterton. Kelly, which is the Flames coach, wins the Jack Adams. He actually won it back-to-back years. So maybe that is why the Flames did so well, is they had a Jack Adams winning coach. I don't know if he was their coach last season. I'll have to check last season simulation, but maybe they just signed a really good coach and that helped them. Maybe we want to go after that coach if he's a free agent. Kozlov wins the Selke. Reichel wins the Lindsay. Brindamore wins the Maurice Richard. As for the AHL, Joe Juno with a couple of words. Johnson won an award for us. Nice job, Johnson. Anybody else? Peter Kmichovsky won the most valuable player in the playoffs, even though he missed a game or 2 for his injured thumb. And that is it for the AHL. Okay, let's take a quick look at Finland just to see their cup-winning team, because I should have been doing this every year, just taking a look at the cup-winning team, but I haven't. So Finland's cup-winning team has Kapanen, Koivu, Alfredsson, Timonen. Jeez, this guy's simulated really well in the playoffs. Lettinen, Forsberg. Well, this Forsberg prospect, I should say. Skula, Niinema, Kapitanov, Reimer, Ko. It's a pretty interesting looking team. And then in terms of goaltending, they had Olaf Kolzig. Good to see Kolzig win a Stanley Cup, because I don't think that happened in real life. Okay, so last little thing, we need to take a look at the draft class and also take a look at the progress reports, and that'll be it for this video. It's probably a really long episode by now, I have no idea, but I apologize in advance. Well, not in advance, but now. Quickly, the draft class, we have a lot of elite guys, but we're not going to be able to get any of them because we don't have a first. But let's see if there's any steals, potentially. There is maybe an offensive defenseman I pinned that is close to looking like a medium elite. 2 years away, maybe. That might be a risky pick, but that would be a nice pick to take in like the 3rd round or something. Good I pinned that guy, because or else I probably wouldn't have noticed him. Low elite. This guy could be a low elite sniper. We'll pin him as well. Maybe that's our 2nd round pick, or this dude. So there you go, we'll pin them as well. Okay, so that anyways is the draft class. Let's quickly take a look at our progress report, see how our goaltending prospect is growing, because we did draft a high elite in last year's offseason. So DePenta is up to a 63. So he's actually pretty much good to be a backup in the AHL, I think, almost at this point. We might sign him. And then defensive prospects, what do we got? Haynes is growing really well. Mikas is growing really well. Those two guys might make the NHL. Or Haynes should make the NHL. Ward's also growing quite well. So we do have some good defensive prospects coming up, which is good. Right wingers, I almost forgot about this guy. Clancy, who we drafted in the 4th round of 2026. He's already a depth forward, so he might be in the NHL next season, which is really good. He had a really good season in Saginaw, so that's good. And Antilla is growing really well. He's up to a 70. Jacobs potentially could make the NHL as well. He's listed as a 4th liner already. We have a lot of things to think about in terms of who we want to let go and whatnot. McCardle could be ready in a couple years. Yeah, we have some really good prospects. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Dallas Stars franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to the offseason yet again. I don't know what's wrong with this team, and I really hope we could get this team eventually past the 1st round. But right now, we've had like a really abysmal last like couple seasons. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time.